start this episode. This is our new weekly breakdown / review of the Halo TV series. So we will be spoiling heavily. So if you have not started Halo, I would recommend turning this off immediately. We're doing episode 1 right now, but this will be at the beginning of every episode. So obviously, as the episodes go on, just pay attention to which episode it is. And if you haven't watched that, then I would recommend turning this off, because we'll be breaking down each episode and reviewing it, and also speaking about the Halo games. So if you are wanting to play the Halo stories or the Halo campaign and care about the stories, I'd recommend not watching or listening to these either. So without further ado, we'll get into the episode here. Welcome to the Current Backloggers. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cal. We're here for another discussion / review for the Halo show. This time, episode 5, Aleria.
Yeah,
okay.
That weird name.
Yeah. This episode comes in at just over an hour, the longest episode, at least this season, I think, overall. I don't think anything was that long last season.
I don't think so. It might... The first episode was 55 minutes, something like that. I think that's the average for their longest episode. But yeah, this one was long.
Yeah, it was a weird one to have such a long episode for.
Yeah,
but,
you would think the action one would be a little bit longer, and then this one was the aftermath of everything, and it was here's an hour.
Anything you want to talk about before we get into it here?
I actually have two things, not Halo related at all.
All right. No,
video game related, though.
Yeah.
We don't go on tangents too much.
No, whatever you want to talk about is fine by me.
I've been playing Age of Empires.
Oh, yeah?
A ton, because they ported it to the console
2
years ago, I think. And yesterday, I was just playing, and I realized 10 hours went by.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. That's bad. But I'm having a blast.
Very nice.
Been playing against computers. They're pretty stupid. And I don't know if you've ever played it.
No, but I know it. I know all about it.
But you can build walls and towers that shoot arrows and stuff like that. And for some reason the AI just doesn't do that. And I'm you're just letting me just charge your civilization, beat the crap out of it. Or they'll build walls where it doesn't matter. Just in a random corner. And I'm AI is so dumb.
Does nobody play it online anymore? You don't want to?
I haven't. Online? I was trying to get the concept of it down before I start playing online, because that'll be way more challenging.
Yeah, especially a couple years after. I bet the only people who play it now are the people that play it nonstop, the people that don't go away from it.
Yeah,
that's why I was wondering.
So I was I don't want to go online and get destroyed. Yeah. So I've been playing it quite a bit, and I think I'm ready for the online world at some point.
Yeah. You can update us once you do that then.
Yeah, I will. One other thing. I don't really talk about sports too much on this podcast either, but I'm a big sports fan. No,
like I said, that's why I want to start the sport podcast back up, because I'm the same way. I need to get it out.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely join for that. Got a lot to talk about in the sports world. But I'm a Celtics fan for NBA, and I actually watch a ton of basketball, probably more than any sport besides football. And I've been watching college a lot. But on Sunday, the Celtics beat Golden State by 55.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that was a really fun game to watch, because I hate Golden State.
Yeah.
And I feel like that game, Golden State, was let's be super disrespectful and let you guys just shoot threes, especially towards Jaylen Brown, who's a good three-point shooter. He's not great, but they were letting him be wide open. Mm-hmm. And before you knew it, the Celtics were up by 40. And I was this is so funny. Because it was just so much disrespect, and I was Golden State's not even that good this year, and they're just let's just let the Celtics do whatever they want. So it was a good day to be a Celtics fan and a basketball fan, because I hate Golden State.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I've told you before, anybody knows me knows this, but I don't like the Celtics either. I hate all Boston sports. They're actually, I'm not saying that just because you're here, they're the one I hate the least, but that's probably because basketball is a sport I follow the least. The Bruins I can't fucking stand. The Red Sox are my most hated team in baseball. I hate the Bruins, and I don't like the Celtics, but yeah, they're actually my least hated team in Boston.
And it's just basketball greatness.
Hey, we have that in Cleveland too.
They're the 2 seed, so who knows?
No, I'm joking. They haven't. They've had it, but it's very rare.
Yeah. They're actually not bad this year.
Yeah.
Though. But yeah, that was all.
No,
Just two
gotcha.
things.
Oh, no. Fine by me. I'm glad you said that because it reminded me of something that I needed to talk about. And that was last episode I talked to you right before we started. The camera view, when I set it up, I can't always see what it's going to look like, so I use my best judgment. And when I was editing last episode, I saw I definitely cut off part of my head, so I was a little sad. But I think we got better this episode, but you guys can let us know if not. Or if we did do better, you can also let us know.
Yeah, I think we can see your head. I can turn around and look, so.
Yeah, I should have asked you last time, but I thought, gotten used to it, I thought it was good, but I failed.
Yeah, we can all see Casey's head today.
All right.
Another point, it's almost March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
And Ohio State is randomly putting together some wins.
Yeah.
And they were talking about if they beat Rutgers on Sunday, they'd get a first-round bye in the Big Ten tournament, so that would be an easier game, potentially, or a team that's closer to them. They would play Minnesota. And then after that, they would play Illinois instead of Purdue. So if they won those two games, I think they'd have to be considered as maybe like an 11 seed or something like that, depending how they do in the tournament. So
I feel it would be hard for them. I know they beat Purdue, but I feel like that would make it harder to beat them again now because I feel like it's always hard to beat a team twice, especially a team that knows you well and that's talented.
That's why it would be better if they played Illinois just because it'd be different, where Purdue, it was also a home game, so you can win at home in college pretty much against anybody just because the environment's so different. For some reason, college players don't play well on the road, where their team just is not as good. There's a few exceptions, but you look at teams' road records in the Big Ten, and they're terrible.
Yeah.
You're like 3-8 or like 3-9 on the road and then have a winning record at home.
Yeah.
But the tournament is a neutral site, so you never know what could happen.
Yeah. And Ohio State fans definitely don't care about, well, any sport, not just basketball like they do football, but they do still travel well, so that'd probably work well in their favor.
Yeah, and I think it's in Minnesota this year, Minneapolis this year. But yeah, so exciting times. The tournament's almost here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll reveal my bracket at some point.
I would say maybe I'd reveal mine, but it's not like it would be something you want to see. It'd just be like a what not to do.
Yeah, it would be busted in the first round for me as well. Actually, like watching college basketball, there's no dominant team this year either. I mean, there wasn't last year either, but anyone could win.
No, I feel you.
All right.
Anything else? Yeah.
I'm ready for Halo.
All right. Let's get into it.
So, Aleria, here we go. There is Kwan Ha in this episode.
Yes, unfortunately.
We'll talk about her quite a bit, actually, because they somehow merged the plot lines without really making it make sense, but they did it. But this episode starts like right where we left off in the last episode. Yeah. It's like, cool. John is like waking up, and there's a battle still going on around him. He wakes up and instantly asks for Vanek. He's just like, Vanek.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting because, I mean, I know they've like been together their whole lives, so it makes sense. But throughout the show, you don't really get that they're like really close. It's just like they're just soldiers with each other, not like really good friends. But Chief throughout this episode is pretty messed up about Vanek's death. But Riz and Soren are in a firefight, I think with jackals.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell. I think it was just the jackals. I didn't see any elites.
No, I don't remember seeing them.
And I don't remember who throws the grenade, but someone throws a grenade, and John's in pretty rough shape because did he get hit last episode or shot?
Yeah, something happened to him.
Yeah, but he's not doing too well. He's struggling to stand. Reach is getting absolutely wrecked. And they kill the group of jackals, and the firing stops. And Soren's like, "Is that all you got?" And then I think it's a brute that jumps down.
Yeah.
With a hammer, which I think we talked about last episode.
We did.
Different weapons and the gravity hammer.
Yeah, something we have seen before, but at least we haven't seen for a while. It's just been all elites and then finally jackals. So yeah, it's a nice change of pace, even though we've seen it before.
Yeah, so this giant brute just jumps down, of course, because Soren is like, "Is that all you got?" And then, of course, jumps down. I think he says something like that, like, shouldn't have said that or something like that. And it runs towards them, and there's like this block of concrete in front of them, and the brute just smacks the concrete, and everyone goes flying, and they just continue to shoot at it. And then this aircraft jumps in and kills this brute, and it's disappointing who is on this aircraft.
Yeah.
It's Soren's wife, and I don't know if we see Quan Ha yet. I think it's next scene.
I think so, yeah.
But Halsey is also there, and Riz is telling Halsey to get up. And then John's just knocked out on the ground. He's done. He's out of the fight. And then Quan Ha jumps in, firing at the jackals. And they get everyone on the ship. And they really try to make Quan Ha look really badass in this scene.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, big time. And yeah, I feel like his wife, Soren's wife, and Quan Ha were like the saviors, but it seemed a little forced just to have them come in like that.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think it's even a Quan Ha hate thing. I just thought it was real forced even without her, even if it was just his wife. I was like, really? And with all this entire military and all these soldiers and super soldiers, and this is what saves the day?
Yeah.
Come on.
Quan Ha and Soren's wife, who I don't know her name.
They said it, I don't remember.
It's just not important to me, I guess, because if it's important, I would remember.
Yeah.
She's just irrelevant to me in the show, but I think they're trying to change that.
Yeah.
But let's see. So Quan Ha jumps in. They get everybody on board, and then Riz is just like, I got to get Vanek's body, and just runs back into this building that's crawling with Covenant. And John is just sitting there, basically about to pass out, and then just starts calling Riz's name, trying to get her to not run in here into that building. And then Riz picks up Vanek and then heads back to the ship and then gets shot in the back. And then they take off and leave. And then I think they start showing the glassing of Reach.
I think so, yeah. Which was kind of a bummer because I felt like I said it was cool seeing it fall apart and start to fall apart, but I thought it was going to be like a multiple episode thing, and I didn't know it was just going to be over with, and that was the fall of Reach, and we were already seeing it.
Yeah, and you would think that they would have lasted longer than one day.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely longer in the games. Reach doesn't just fall immediately.
Yeah. I know it's its own timeline thing, but still, like I said, you have to judge it for what it is as well, and I don't think that was the best way to handle it. I'm sure it's partly because they only have so much time to work with having only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's an excuse because there's so much nonsense between even the episodes that are good. They could knocked out to have a whole entire episode focused on something else. So
yeah, they could have had, if they would have sped the Reach invasion process up by like 1 episode, I think they could have had 2 episodes of them fighting for Reach, and with the suits would have been a million times better.
Yeah.
Because now we just know John doesn't have his suit.
Yeah, the episode started, like you said, left off right where we were from the last episode. So again, no suits until spoilers at the very end, but we'll get to that. But yeah, no suits throughout the whole thing. I guess it's a good time to talk about the video we mentioned last week.
Oh, yeah.
You watched the video. I feel like that shows how much this show is missing and how the littlest bits can make it so much better, because those people that made that video are obviously very talented. I can never do something like that, but you can tell it's just like some people that have some skills. It's not like a whole production studio.
Yeah.
And all they did was edit his armor. I think it's actually just his helmet on, but
just the helmet on. Yeah. And they added Halo 3 music to the background, and it was way better. It was just like 2 scenes maybe, but just that added so much. It just felt more like Halo, just adding those 2 things.
No, I totally agree, and I think if just random people on YouTube can do that and make it look that good, and I was going to get to the sound as well. Yeah, sound that good. I feel like somebody like Paramount that has not endless money, but endless compared to somebody like that, I think they would fucking kill it. I would, even those guys, if they could do that for an entire episode, I would pay for that if they could. Or I mean, entire season, I would pay for that to be able to have with armor and everything.
Yeah.
And I think it shows that even that video, if you watch it, which I can link to it in this so you can watch it for yourselves if you want. But I think even their song choice, I get why they did it because it was like a more recognizable song, but I don't even think that song fit it that well. I feel like you'd want something more subtle.
Yeah.
I feel like they were trying to make a point with it. But I think my point in that is that I think it would sound even better if it was actually mixed by professionals and Paramount and everything, because you would pick obviously different music. But like I said, I get why they did it because I think they were trying to prove a point, which I think it seemed pretty clear to me that they made it.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's laziness by Paramount or they're just trying to do something different with Halo that they shouldn't even try to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me at all.
No, I'm with you.
Because it should be easy. Like, this should be a layup for Paramount.
Yeah.
Like, this show should be so simple to get done right.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, which I didn't even hate this episode,
No,
but
I didn't either.
At times I'm like, okay, you guys are just doing this on purpose. Like, you can't be that stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You're just making him not have his suit. And there's a line later that John says, I think he's like, we didn't even have our suits or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you haven't the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
And they just want to make it known that they don't have their suits. And it was like that in season 1. Anytime he had the suit on, that helmet came off as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
No, I'm with you.
But yeah, that video made like Paramount look even more stupid, because if someone can just with skills make something like that so quick, you're failing is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
That's the simplest way to put that.
It was cool to see, but sad at the same time, because you know it's not what it is, and you know the potential.
Yeah. So let's see. The glassing of Reach begins. Halsey is helping John because he's like basically dying. He's not dying, but
Yeah,
he's in bad
seems
shape.
like it.
He keeps saying Riz's name over and over again, and then he's just lying on a table, which I think this scene was from the first episode of this season.
It was, and I was glad to see it. I still don't know exactly what's happening, but it seems like it'll probably show more of it, because that was our worry that they did that, and there'll be like a lot of scenes where they do that, and then you just don't go back to it. You're like, wait, what the hell was that? So
yeah.
It was nice to see they actually are going back to something.
And my theory with that scene is that's when Cortana's getting taken out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And we realize Parent Goski is there now. We didn't get that full shot in that first episode, so who knows what she's up to. I don't really like her that much.
No, especially after her ramen joke, she lost me.
Yeah, she's on the bottom tier of characters in this show. But then we jump back to them being on the ship, and they kind of take off, and the intro pops in.
Yep. That's pretty much everything I had.
Yeah. So into the next scene, we get the Blessed One. And they're looking at Reach from space. And this made me really happy because it confirmed something that we guessed, or you guessed, last episode.
Yeah.
She turns around.
But no, I got you now.
Yeah, she turns around and starts talking to Arbiter.
Mm-hmm.
And confirmed Arbiter, because it's, if you have subtitles on, it says Arbiter when he's talking. And they might say his name.
I think they did. I was gonna say, I know you mean say Arbiter, like said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did, but I also always watched the after show, and they talked about it, obviously, so it kind of blends together. I don't know if it was in the show or the
I think
after show.
In a later scene, the Blessed One is talking to Cortana, and Cortana asks where they are, and she says it's the Arbiter ship.
Yeah, I thought they mentioned the show.
So, Arbiter is officially in Halo.
That's right.
Which is really cool. So they're talking to each other about their victory on Reach. And I didn't detail their entire conversation because they talked about quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for me to keep up with everything they were saying and pay attention and take notes. But Arbiter says they only got one of the great keystones. And he's also upset because the Blessed One spared Chief. And he's like that death is my redemption, and you just protected him. He's pretty mad about it, which understandably, like he wanted to kill him. And he grabs like a device out of her hand, and she tells him it contains human knowledge, and he asks if it will take them to the Keystone. And that's basically what I have from this scene.
Yeah, that's why I had, like you said, I think it's really cool to see the Arbiter in there. Definitely not Keith David voicing him, but whoever's doing it is doing a good job.
Yeah.
But he's not speaking English yet either. He's still speaking Swahili, so Keith David obviously doesn't voice him in the game when he's speaking in what we know as gibberish.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome if they get him when he starts. Well, assuming they take this, we see they don't always take the same route as the games, but assuming they have him start speaking English, then, or human, I always do that, but speaking human, it'd be so awesome to get Keith David. If not, I don't know if they're going to try and match him or if they're just going to go total opposite end and just do somebody that doesn't sound like him. It'd be interesting to see what they do. Yeah,
I'm curious about that. I wonder if this device she has is going to teach him English, possibly. Not really sure what it is. But she said it contains human knowledge, so that could
that could make sense.
Be a lot of things. It could teach him how to speak English or just learn about humanity, which would be cool.
Yeah.
So they only have one Keystone, which I thought was interesting, because I'm pretty sure they had more in season 1. Unless the humans got a couple back.
Well, yeah, I think that happened in the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess they only have one. But that's basically that scene. I just thought it was cool to see Arbiter.
Oh, no, I'm with you.
That made me very happy. And the Blessed One. Blessed One's back.
Yeah.
Mister.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm really not digging the hairdo. It's making it very distracting.
Yeah.
But she's obviously still great.
Yeah, exactly. So John then wakes up. He's got a bunch of wires attached to his body because last time we saw him, he was not in good shape.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care that he's not in good shape because he just falls out of the bed and starts crawling on the floor. And he stands up by pulling on a chain, so he's like struggling just to stand, and he looks at Riz. And Halsey is there and tells him that he needs to rest, but he's not concerned about himself whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's just like, will Riz live? And Halsey says that she needs surgery and that she doesn't have the tools for it. John blames himself for Riz going after Vanek, which I'm not really sure why he blamed himself here, because I mean, he's incapacitated and on the ground while Riz is running towards Vanek, so there's nothing he can really do to help her.
Yeah, logistically, or I don't know, realistically, I think it makes no sense, but I think they're probably just, he's the leader, so he's taking blame for it.
He feels responsible.
Yeah, but no, it's not. Realistically, it wouldn't be his fault.
But I mean, like, Soren is there, and he could have helped her, or Quan Han, her badassness, could have shot some jackals or something too, since that's how they're painting her, but no one helped, so can't really blame Master Chief here.
No, I'm with you.
So he blames himself, and then let's see, so then he asks about the other teams on Reach, if there's been any contact, and Halsey just tells him that the city fell and everyone scattered. So everyone that was on this planet defending it, once everything fell, there's just probably a bunch of ships leaving and evacuating.
Yeah.
And then she tells him it's been 2 days because she had to force him into a coma, so he's been knocked for 2 days. And John wants to go back to Reach, I think?
Yeah, I think he's trying to make the case for it.
Yeah, and we saw it getting glassed. Halsey tells him no, like, you need to rest, and then she gives him, like, a shot, which is going to make him pass out.
Yeah.
And Halsey says Reach wasn't an accident, but a plan, and then John says, so it's we now, which, I mean, hey. And then Halsey says, it always has been, and that's kind of the end of that scene.
Yeah.
So no one likes Halsey for a number of different reasons. It's kind of weird because we have Halsey and Ackerson, and I don't know if we're supposed to dislike both of them, but I definitely don't love them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So it's a little weird, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, it's conflicting for me because I know Halsey's so different in the games that I feel like my brain's tricking me to like her, but yeah, I think the show's taking a different route, so I feel like I don't know if I actually like her. I think I'm just being tricked to like her.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that they did in this episode that I was like, huh,
Yeah.
interesting. Not really sure where we're going, but it wasn't a bad episode. I think every scene was important to push the plot forward, which was good because a lot of the times they'll have an episode like last one and the next one will be a bunch of nonsense, which there were a couple scenes in here that were, but not as many as usual. So after Halsey injects Chief with whatever shot, he passes out, and we get to the Blessed One again, and she is talking to Cortana, and Cortana is pretty fascinated by this Covenant ship, which, I mean, she's an AI. She likes to learn information, so getting to be on a Covenant ship is really cool. And the Blessed One tells her that it's the command ship of the Arbiter, which was our confirmation, again, that the Arbiter's now in this show. And then the Blessed One asks Cortana about Master Chief, because the Blessed One wants to know about his memories because he saw Halo last season. I think it was like a vision type thing when he touched an artifact. Yeah,
that was another conflicting theme of the show, that it was so cool seeing Halo, but the way they were doing it was so weird with like the flashbacks, or you don't know if it's a flash forward or just him imagining things, because like the weird scenes with John and the Blessed One together on Halo and all the weird shit that was happening.
Yeah. So the Blessed One wants like to know about John's memories because she thinks it can lead her to Halo. And Cortana's like, no, I can't tell you his memories. And I think the Blessed One is like, I need like this information one way or another, and then Cortana just disappears. It's like, bye.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, no, I'm not talking to you. Yeah. See ya.
No, I'm with you.
So they have Cortana. I don't know if they know what to do with her.
It didn't seem like the humans did either, though. So the real humans.
Yeah. Which, I mean, also should be such an easy thing to get right in this show. And I still don't know exactly what they're doing with Cortana. Because Cortana was like a big part of season 1, it felt like. And now season 2, we've had, 2 scenes with Cortana in it?
I think a couple more than that, but yeah, not many.
Not many, yeah.
Definitely true.
Because season 1, they were just all like, Chief was like, no, I'm not merging with that AI. I hate her. And then towards the end, it was like, oh, they're good. And now Cortana gets taken out of Master Chief, and now we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll change that as we go, but it also seemed like this group, John, Soren, Halsey, they have no concern for Cortana, even though they know that she was taken by the Covenant. So I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah, especially Halsey, since it's her creation.
Yeah, she mentioned it last episode, like they took Cortana, didn't say a thing about it in this episode. But, so, next scene, unless you had something else.
Nope, not there.
Okay.
You're good.
So, John wakes up, and our favorite character ever is there to greet him, Kwan Ha, with Soren. And John asks where Halsey is. Soren tells him that he's been knocked out for 3 days, and Soren says they're going to Aleria to get Riz help, and that Kessler is there. Which, did they say how they knew Kessler was there?
I feel like they did. I don't remember, though.
I don't know either.
But knowing this show, it's possible they didn't, and I just gave them too much credit, assuming they did.
That Kessler's just there.
Yeah.
Somehow they might have explained to us how, but who knows?
Yeah.
So Kwan then takes John into another room with Vanek's body, and then John goes to leave and says he needs to go talk to Halsey, which is all he's focused on. Which, lately when John wakes up, he's hyper-focused on one thing. Last time he woke up, it was Riz, and this time it's just Halsey.
Yeah.
Where's Halsey? And everyone's just trying to tell him other stuff, and he's like, I don't care. Where's Halsey? And I thought it was really funny. So Kwan is annoyed that John won't look at Vanek's body, which at first I was like, why does Quan care so much about Vanek's body? We learn it a little bit later why, but I was like, why do you care so much about someone that she never met? Because I'm like 90% sure she never talked to Vanek in the show.
Yeah, so we learned a little bit, but it was still annoying and just felt so unnecessary. But I know the later scenes that you're talking about.
And even then, it didn't exactly make sense, but at least they had a reason.
Yeah.
So they land on Aleria, and they bring in Riz and start to prep her for surgery, which it was like immediate. Like they landed and they were like, we got it ready.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have like contacts on this planet. That way they could be like, hey, we need like medical help, and they could get it done immediately. I'm assuming that's what happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Soren then tells John that Riz will be all right. John asks about Kessler, and Soren says they're going to ask around on the planet.
Just a small little planet.
Yeah. Just ask around, they'll find him. Quan wants Chief to join, but he doesn't seem like he wants to at all. He's like, no. Like, no. Which I don't blame him, because it's like, why is Quan Ha here? It's like all of us watching it. We're like, why is she here? And John's the same way. He's like, I don't want to help you at all. And he seems really annoyed with her in every dialogue scene that they have, which I think is fantastic. Yeah,
I'm just worried that is leading towards like them working together, like oh man, I hate you, and we gotta work together, and then we kind of become best friends. And I hope that's not where they're leading this towards.
Quan Ha is like the second best soldier in the UNSC. Still such a weird thing to say, UNSC. I want to say USC every time, and I was like, UNSC. But yeah, so Quan's here, Chief's here, Soren's here, Soren's wife is here, Halsey's here. That's like the group with Riz. And then, so Chief doesn't want to join them. So then Soren goes to this shop owner who's just kind of there. And he tells him he's looking for his son. And they tell the guy that he would have landed on a transport ship. So I guess this transport ship was going to Aleria. Maybe that's how they know.
Yeah. I thought it was something to do with the ship, but I was like, I don't want to make something up that's not in there at all.
That's my guess, is they just knew where the transport ship was going, or maybe Quan Ha knew and then told him or something, because she was on the ship and left. But the shop owner gets these documents out to find out when the transport landed and who the passengers were. And he gives them info on this 10-year-old kid, and they're like, that's Kessler. So they get the info, and I think he's on the planet, and they kind of steer them in that direction.
Yeah.
So that's all that scene was, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then next scene, Quan gives John a coat to start this scene, and she has a shovel to bury Vanek, and he's mad because he's like, you don't bury a Spartan. And they have like dialogue back and forth about it. I didn't write all of it down. I don't know if you did.
No, I think that's the gist of it, that she wants to do it out of respect, and he's saying like Spartans deserve better than that. It's disrespectful.
Yeah. So Quan's just like, okay, I don't care what you think. I'll bury him myself. Which is just so weird to me, why she cares so. Like, even her reasoning of why she cares
it's silly.
Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And I understand why John's upset, because this is his friend, not hers. So why are you trying to bury someone you don't even know? Like, I'd be so annoyed. And he clearly is.
Yeah, I'd be burying somebody else's body. It wouldn't be his.
So that scene happens. She takes Vanek. She's going to go bury him. And Soren and his wife get on this truck. I don't know where they found it. They're just like, hey, you guys are going to this place? We'll just hop in back. So they're going to find Kessler, and Soren's wife is really mad at him because he's just talking with the locals and making friends and acting like nothing that's happened has happened. And she's like, you're more worried about the scenery and making friends than finding our son. And she's like, you always disappear when things go bad. And she lists like 3 different circumstances. And then she takes her wig off and throws it on the ground.
Yeah, there's I didn't like this whole thing they were doing with her being all upset. It felt like a hormonal teen or something.
Yeah.
But they're both grown adults with a kid. I was like, this whole back and forth thing is really weird. And she, I think, even says it. She's mad because he's happy. And I was like, what? This is fucking weird. I don't really get this like feud thing you got going on here.
Yeah.
This whole thing seems weird. And yeah, she takes off her wig real dramatically, and I was like, I don't know why any of this is happening.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand why she took it off. Like, I was just like, okay, you took off your wig? Cool. Thanks for showing us that. But Soren's reasoning for, like, why he was acting like that makes sense. He's like, we have to keep moving forward. We can't just dwell on it like it happened. I thought his reasoning was very logical.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean by the hormonal teen. I get that she thinks that he's just like, oh, doesn't matter, but I feel like you could use common sense, and then if you couldn't, you would understand it once it was talked about.
For sure. But again, another scene where I realize I don't like Soren's wife at all. Like,
yeah,
at all. She's getting up there with Kwan Ha. Two of the most useless characters in the show.
I don't think I can ever put somebody even close to her, but I'm with you on the annoying part.
It's like ranking system. Like Kwan's like down here, and she's like there. So next scene, Riz wakes up. Halsey is there by her bedside, and they're talking about people surviving Spartan augmentation. It's a weird word. But only 1 out of 3 Spartans survived the augmentation. And Halsey tells her she did what she could, but she won't be the soldier she once was and will have to work harder now. Which Riz was already in rough shape overall. And she just got shot in the back without her armor. So I can only imagine, like, she's not even close to the same.
Yeah.
Which, later in the episode, she's not in. She might be in the show more, maybe not.
Yeah. If you have it later, we'll get to that.
We'll talk about it, yeah. It's towards the end, like one of the end scenes. But, so, Kwan is journeying out into the snow. This is a snowy planet also. Kind of a cold mountain type planet. I thought it was cool. I thought the scenery was cool. And she's dragging Vanek's body out to bury him, which Vanek's a big guy, so I don't know how.
And she's a very small girl.
Yeah, and she was definitely struggling, but I don't think she would even be able to move his body realistically.
Especially like you talked about, the landscape is not like you're just dragging across flat grass, which would already be challenging, but
yeah, it's just snow and wind and hilly.
Hey,
like,
Jinx.
Oh.
We gotta quit this podcast. That was like 5 in a row. We're gonna laugh at the same time.
Yeah, we're done. We're done after this. Kwan did it. But she's dragging Vanek's body, and it cuts back to Halsey and John just randomly. This episode was weird as far as cuts, because some scenes would last forever, and then other scenes it was like really quick and just a random cut.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess that's fine. I just feel like normally the show isn't like that, or maybe I was just noticing it more this episode.
I didn't think about it till you said it, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. But maybe because it's the longest episode at least of this season, and potentially both.
That might be also why.
Yeah.
But I was just noticing it more as I was watching it, because I paused it halfway through, and I was like, okay, I need a break. And it's not like it's that long. Like, I've watched movies that are 3 hours, but I think it was when Kwan started dragging this body is when I actually paused it the first time. But, yeah, so we're back to John and Halsey's like, Riz will live and fight again. And that's pretty much what that scene was. So then we're back to Kwan, and she's digging this grave for Vanek. And she says she's burying him to represent everyone that's gone. And then, which that's her reasoning. He's everyone that died. Which I was like, okay, whatever. And this group of people with torches just approach her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, if you've ever watched any Twin Pilot music videos from their Trench album, felt very Twin Pilots, which also doesn't fit Halo at all.
No, it doesn't at all. So these torch people just approach her, and then we're back to John, and he's talking to Halsey and says that Parangoski is the one that took Cortana out. So that confirms that. And he asks Halsey why he was chosen, and he wants her to tell him the truth for once, because she says something in between that, and he's like, can you just tell the truth and stop lying? And back to this group of people with torches, and they're surrounding Quan, and they're trying to take Vanek's body, and they want to burn it, which I have no clue why they want to. I don't know where these people came from. They're just like, we're going to burn this body. And they start chanting at Vanek's body, too. And I think Master Chief goes out there during this scene.
Yes.
Because he sees from inside that they're just surrounding Quan Ha. And he basically just tells them to put Vanek in the sky, is basically what he says. So Quan's not going to get to bury this body. She's not getting what she wants, which is fine with me.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So they're just going to burn his body. And we're back to Soren and his wife. And they're arriving at this large building that has a smaller building inside of it. And they go into this building, and they knock on the door. And these girls answer the door with guns. They're ready. And they tell them they are looking for their son. The girls say that he's theirs now. So they're just like, no, you're not getting your son back. And then they accuse them of being bad parents, saying that he had bruises on him, implying that they beat their child, things like that. And Soren's wife is mad when they say that, which I kind of understand that. Oh, he had bruises on him. You beat your kid. And they won't give him back. There's like, no. And they just shut the door. I was like, okay, interesting. So they walk out, and Soren's wife is going off again about how Soren doesn't care or something. And he's like, I'll go talk to them. Because what else is he going to do? And then they cut, and he's just in their house having tea, and he's trying to relate to them about like, oh, I used to live like this, blah blah blah, and he's saying he can compensate them to get Kessler back, and they're like, he's not for sale. And then they point a gun at him, and Soren has this quote where he's like, I was born in hell without a family or a home or food or protection. And I don't really know where I was going with that, but he says
okay.
that.
It fits the actual show. They don't know where they're going with it a lot of times.
So he's like trying to relate to them for some reason. And Soren's wife is outside and sees this kid with a helmet.
Yeah.
A Spartan helmet.
Which, I'll wait till you go a little further here. And
I think so she sees this kid. I think it's Kessler, because in my notes I said finds Kessler because I saw the helmet. And then we cut back to Soren, and he's still talking about how loneliness would kill him, and he's grateful that they took his son in because he would find love here, but that Kessler is his son. So he's basically like, I know you would take care of him, but he's my son.
Before they went back and started talking, like before he was full in conversation, I definitely thought in between this he was just planning on killing him. I thought he was definitely just going to pull out a gun and
just start firing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the end of him.
Really surprised that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they weren't evil, so I'm kind of glad that he didn't just start popping off. But he could have been like, give me my son back.
Yeah.
And just start shooting him. But then we're back to Soren's wife, and the kid is not Kessler.
Nope. Yeah, she hasn't taken the helmet off, and you see, and that's why I didn't want to say who it wasn't yet. But I was thinking when I saw this scene, even without this being Kessler, it's insane to think Kessler has worn a helmet longer than the Master Chief on this show, at least in this season.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Ridiculous.
Fucking nuts, yeah.
Even this kid, he's worn it more than Master Chief.
Uh-huh.
So he's got the helmet, and he says that someone took Kessler away, and the helmet was given to him because he was afraid, and Kessler noticed that, so he gave him the helmet. So Soren comes out, sees the helmet, and then his wife tells Soren the kid is not Kessler, and they hug.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on here.
No.
Like, I don't care about Kessler either, so this is just kind of here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
No, I feel you.
Got it. I mean, I like Soren, but I'm not, like, attached to him either.
No, yeah, same here.
So they then have a funeral for Vanek. Rest in peace. And Halsey has this speech about the people risking their lives to defend Reach, and she talks about Vanek, and she says something about how his family would be proud, and then John is like, he says his family buried him at 6 because they never knew him, and I was like, damn. So Halsey's just out here lying again, because in the last season we learned that they have like clones of the children and take them away, and then the families just think they die.
Yeah.
So, and then John's dog, remember that?
Oh, yeah, the white dog, I remember.
That was a good time.
When I see big white dogs, I still reference that. I'm like, oh my God, it's Master Chief's dog.
It's the white dog. So, then John takes it away, and he starts talking about Vanek, and he says he was a Spartan and our brother, and that they were the only family that he ever knew, referring to Silver Team. And he says, your fight is not done. I will be your weapon now. I will find the ones who caused your death, and I will end them. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I thought that scene was well acted.
No, I'm with you.
By Pablo.
Yeah, I agree.
So then he burns Vanek's body, so he can finally put that to rest after Quan wanted to bury him the entire episode.
And unless this show's going to get extra dumb, that can put to rest him coming back to life or them repairing him, unless it's going to get real silly.
Yeah.
Kind of talked about that last episode.
Yeah, where they could just do something to bring him back.
Yeah.
I would say that would confirm that Vanek is officially dead, which kind of sad about.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't like super attached, but he was definitely cool, especially in the armor when he had his armor on. And he said some funny lines too. So kind of sad that they decided that he was the first Spartan to die here.
Yeah, I'm with you. Especially when we saw that it wasn't just all getting taken out one by one. Like when Riz got shot, I was like, oh, they are doing it. And I didn't want her to die, but I was like, all right, they're just going to start taking him out. But then I was like, it's not that I wanted her to die, but I thought they were doing it. And then to see she was still just alive but wounded, I was like, oh, it's kind of lame.
Yeah. So this next scene, I think John walks away from Vanek's body being burned, and Halsey goes after him, and John's like, he's going to go after Ackerson and Parengoski. And I'm like, oh yeah, kill them all. Just go in, guns blazing, kill them all. And then Halsey's coming back to their earlier conversation in this episode, and she's like, I didn't choose you. We found you. Like, she found him. And she tells him that he can take them to the Halo. So she was, and then she said, like, they can't let him live, which I'm assuming she meant Ackerson. Like, they can't allow Chief to keep living. And then he says, I'm already dead. And I was like, okay, he's getting real dark here.
Emo John.
Yeah, like he's
going Spider-Man 3 on us here.
Yeah, we might see him get that type of hairstyle, start walking around to the Covenant. If we got a blooper like that, that'd be really funny.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. So he's already dead. He's dead inside, basically. Reach is gone. Keyes is dead. Vanek's dead. Riz is messed up. Kai is nowhere to be found. Well, we know where she is here soon. But basically, he's like, I'm already dead. I'm just going to start killing people.
Yeah.
And that's where he's at.
Yeah.
And then we get to this next scene. The best scene of the episode.
I disagree.
So, Quan is just by this fire that's Vanek's body. And there's this voice that's like, join me. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And it's the old lady from episode 1.
Yeah.
She's just telling Quan Ha to join her. I'm pretty sure this lady's dead.
Does she die in the show? Or are you...
The old lady?
Yeah.
I thought she was still on the planet when it got glassed.
I think you're right, yeah. I think she stayed there.
So
she'd be gonzo.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening here. And the lady asked, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh no, here we go. They're actually gonna do this." And Quan's like, "I'm no one." And then this lady's like,
yeah, I have the exact note too. I know you're gonna say it though, so go for it.
"You're Quan Ha, the last of the Ha's." And this whole episode was very serious. When this line happened, I laughed out loud. I laughed so much.
Yeah, it's fitting her name is Ha. Because that's what makes you do when she's in pretty much every scene. And not intentionally.
And it was so funny, though. You're the last of the Ha's. Like, it was supposed to be, like, this serious, like, you're Quan Ha. And it wasn't at all.
No.
So she's the last of the Ha's. And the old lady tells her to come find her and save her and calls her the Protector. Quan Ha's the Protector.
Mm-hmm. Is this... I don't want to get ahead of things, but is this where we see the demon symbol again?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the cave.
Do you still know what that is? I feel like the more I see it, the more I'm like, I have no clue.
I don't know. At all.
Yeah, me either.
Just as confused as you.
Okay.
So, last of the Ha's.
That's right.
Okay, so...
Hopefully not for long.
Yeah, hopefully she just dies. Hopefully Arbiter just, like...
Oh, that'd be great.
Just energy sword, stabs her straight through the chest, rips her head off, and just tosses her.
Hell yeah.
That's what I would want to see. So we're back on Arbiter's ship. Really cool ship.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool guy, Arbiter. Arbiter says they have been recalled and failed their mission, because I think they're looking for the keystones to get to Halo. And I thought this whole scene was interesting, because it's basically... Arbiter is like, we need to go back to the prophets. And the Blessed One is like, no. Like, they'll just kill us or something along those lines. Or they don't know what they'll do to them because they failed. And Arbiter's kind of just hoping that they will just forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
But the Blessed One, I think she calls them... I'm thinking of the word she used. Not treason. She says something about them that's like...
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But...
Like, basically, she's against the prophets at this point, and Arbiter's like, I know she says they don't care, the hierarchs don't care about the great prophecy. Arbiter is like, you're lucky that I don't, like, kill you for saying that, because obviously he's devoted to this religion. And then the Halo ring pops up on the screen, because the Blessed One is trying to get Arbiter to go to Halo, but without the prophets, which I think is kind of weird, the way they're setting that up.
Yeah.
But the Halo ring pops up on the screen, and Arbiter asks, like, how are you doing this? And she says, it's him and his destiny. So I was like, huh. It's like she's playing sides right now.
Yeah.
Which was really weird to me. And then she convinces him to find the ring, the Halo ring, and they turn their ship around.
Did we see High Charity at this point? I think we did. If not, it'd be right after. Cause this is the first time I've seen it since season 1.
Yeah.
Like the floating purple planet kind of looks like an upside down, like a jellyfish.
We see it during this scene.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's the first thing we actually see because Arbiter's looking at it because they're returning back. And that's why he's like, they've been recalled and failed.
Yeah.
So we do get to see that, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not really sure what they're going with here as far as, you know, now the Blessed One doesn't seem to be working with the Prophets either. She's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's telling Arbiter that, like, he'll lead them to the ring.
Yeah. I mean, who knows with how the show does things. I feel like it seems like they're just trying to set it up that she probably wants control and doesn't want them in it, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like she wants to be the Prophets.
And Arbiter seems... He has mixed feelings about her for sure, just because she's a human.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of like, how can I trust you?
Yeah.
Which, totally understandable.
Oh, yeah.
But, again, good scene.
No, I agree.
Like, both the Arbiter scenes in this episode were really good with the Blessed One.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that maybe we can, have some more screen time with them and cut Kwan Ha out a little bit more.
Yeah, and... something that I'm sure has to be really hard as an actor. We talked about it, and I think she does a really good job with it. And well, we talked about it, like people watching the show, not on this podcast. But I think she does a really good job with it, and I think the show does a good job in general with the made-up language. It sounds a little goofy, but I think for a made-up language, it sounds really good.
Yeah,
I know they're pulling from the game with that, so that's probably partly why it sounds so good, because they're using the game more, which they probably should have learned from. But there's been things that create new languages that are fucking terrible, so I think they do a decent job with that.
Yeah, for sure. And I also, this is totally unrelated to that, but I just love how the elites look. They just look really good in live action.
No, I agree.
And, like, that could seem like, oh, that's an easy thing to do, but some people would be really lazy with it. And I think as far as, like, looks with the Covenant and how Jackals and everything looks, they really do a good job with that.
Yeah.
Especially.
No, I agree.
One of the highlights of the show is they definitely look at the weapons and make sure they look like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And the elites look perfect. And
I'm with you on that.
It was cool to see kind of an elite, like, talking and interacting more than... Because we've mostly seen them just fighting, so it's cool to finally get Arbiter where he's actually involved with the plot.
No, I totally agree.
So hopefully we get more of him throughout this season. Hopefully it's not just 2 scenes per episode of Arbiter, but actually a lot more.
Yeah.
Because he does mention he wants to kill Master Chief, which is, that's his character.
Mm-hmm.
And then switches sides, which is really cool when that happens.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping we get kind of that rivalry between them.
Yeah. No, me too.
So that's that scene, and then we get back to Soren and his wife, and Riz is watching everyone from inside, and Soren's wife is back in this one guy's shop looking for gloves and barbed wire, and she kind of makes like a Negan type weapon here.
I didn't say anything. I was waiting to see if you said it as we were watching it, and I put my note. I said, she's really going all full Negan here.
I'm Negan.
Yeah, she grabbed the bats, barbed wire. I feel like they have to know that this is very Walking Dead right now.
Yeah.
There's so many weapons he could have picked.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, oh, it's a Negan.
Uh-huh.
Which I love Negan.
Oh, me too.
Great character.
Yeah.
But, so she's making her makeshift Lucille. And she's basically going crazy while she's talking to this guy and definitely threatening him. And she has this crazy look in her eye. And she makes him talk, basically, is the end result of the scene. She didn't kill him, surprisingly. I thought she was going to go crazy on him and start smashing his face or something.
Yeah, I thought they might do that. I thought they would cut away, but then you just hear like a scream or something.
Yeah, but she does not kill him. She does get information. And when she walks out, she tells Soren that the UNSC took Kessler. I don't know why they did, but they took him.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure at all why they took him.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just for leverage or because they know they'll come after him and they want to see him again and try and kill him or capture him. I don't know.
Yeah, I had no clue. But because they captured Soren too, so I'm wondering, like, okay, now you're capturing his kid, tried to kill his wife. Like, they just don't like Soren and his family at all. So then we're back to John and Riz, and John is like wheels up in 10, like we're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Riz tells John that she's going to stay on the planet and that her fight is over. He's not happy about this, which I kind of understand because Kai's not there anymore. Vanek's not here. I mean, he's dead. But Riz is like the last like member of Silver Team that can fight with him. And so he's like, it's not over until we win. And he wants her to stand up. And he's like, basically like, this is an order. And she stands up with her crutch because she can't stand on her own 2 feet right now. And he wants to know what she's going to do to avenge Vanek or Kai's death, because I think he assumes Kai is dead as well, which we learn here in a second that is not the case.
Yeah.
And Riz says, I'm going to live. Like, that's how I'll avenge them, is I'm just going to live. And I think she says it's just pain. All you can do is carry it. And Chief said something before this, because he's definitely struggling with grief. And his answer is, I'm going to go kill these people.
Yeah.
Riz is taking the other option of, I'm going to sit out now because my body is done. And at the end of the scene, John does hug her and is going to let her stay on this planet.
Yeah, here I put something I don't genuinely use, but I use it ironically because I hate when people say it. I think Riz really lost her Riz here. Yeah, I know it's terrible, but
and it's time to.
No, I don't blame you if you just walk out, not even just end the show but leave. I'd be surprised if she doesn't come back in some way or to save the day kind of thing. But at the same time, I don't know if you've watched any of the after shows yet, but they're not doing the total Walking Dead thing where it was like a running joke of who was on their next was killed the week before or the episode before. But it seems like, because there's only so many people they can have on here, so I don't think they really can do that in the first place. But it seems like a lot of times it lines up with people that die. Like Vanek was on there a week before, and she was on the guest on the after show.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do it where it just lines up with like the key person in that episode, which would have been her in this episode.
Yeah.
So it might have been that, but it seemed weird that they're kind of like sunsetting her and then had her on as a guest.
Yeah. I understand why she's backing out now, because, I mean, her body was in terrible condition, and she just got surgery and can barely walk. So her going to fight doesn't make sense here. Maybe we get more of her character, and maybe she realizes, like, hey, I can still fight in some way, and then, like you said, kind of rescues or something like that.
Yeah.
I could see that happening, or I could see her character just being written off like this, and that's it.
No, yeah, I could see either. Did you watch the after show this week?
No.
I was just wondering, because she was the guest, like I said, and she was much, much more attractive when I feel like in the show they try and make her more like masculine and kind of like dirty and everything, which makes sense for the show, but
yeah,
she looks extra good in real life. I don't even think it's because she's like all dolled up. She looks like she has a little bit of makeup on. I think it's just because, like I said, they probably
change.
Yeah. Make her look less desirable on purpose.
Yeah, I'm really bad about watching the after shows. I gotta get on it.
Yeah, I love Halo so much that for me, I'm not like, oh God, I gotta do this. I can't wait to watch it, and they're only like 15 minutes at most. So it's not like you're watching The Talking Dead was like almost as long as The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah,
so, and I liked it, so I watched it. But
yeah, I loved The Talking Dead.
Yeah,
they don't do that anymore because the main series is done.
Yeah,
but so Riz is gone temporarily, is what I'm gonna go with. If she doesn't
come
have
lost
back,
her Riz.
Yeah, she did.
Just see if I can get you to leave or not.
I can't walk out. We're in the middle of an episode. I can walk out as soon as we're done, though.
Damn it.
So John then tells Halsey that Riz lost her Riz. Now Casey leaves, and I just sit down here and do a solo pod the rest of the way. So he just says Riz is not coming. And and Halsey tells Riz that she's no one now, which I was like, okay. And then Riz smiles and walks away, and she left her dog tags just sitting on the chair, and Halsey picks them up, and then Riz is just hanging out with the locals on Aleria.
That's another thing that made it seem like they were actually wrapping up. I'm sure that's something you do even if you knew she was coming back, to be like, oh, she's done, and she comes back, but it does seem like a sign that could be the actual end.
Yeah, actually give her a peaceful send-off.
Yeah.
Where I was thinking every single one of the Silver Team was going to die.
Yeah.
Except John. So, yeah, I think it's interesting what they did here. I didn't hate it, though. I was like, this does make sense for her character at this point. So, then, the most shocking thing about this episode is it cuts to Kai, who's on a base with Ackerson, and she walks out of this door, and there's a ton of troops in armor.
Yeah, and she puts on her helmet, so you know the episode's about to end because there's people in suits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like hundreds, maybe thousands of... I think they're Spartans. I love Halo, but I'm not going to act like I know all the different armor sets.
Yeah.
Like there's different... Like there would be like military rankings, there's different, like ODST, like we talked about, they're not Spartans, but to that level of, like there's different things, and I don't know what that armor is called, but I know just looking at it, I've seen that armor before, so yeah, I think they're Spartans is what I'm thinking, just not the highest grade Spartans.
Yeah. So not like Silver Team level, but
yeah,
definitely in suits and a ton of them.
Yeah.
And Kai seems to be in command of these troops, which I think the last time we saw Kai, she was like, put me in charge instead of chief. So I don't know what they're going with here. I don't know if they're going to go with like a Chief Kai rivalry or what the goal is with this.
I feel like that's what they're setting up. I feel like it's definitely going to be something where it turns and she was doing it to get an advantage for Silver Team side and use it against the UNSC.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. She might just end up being a bad character, well, an evil character, but I don't know, something tells me that
based on like her, I'm trying to think of how to say this, based on what we've seen of her character, I don't think she's going to be evil. I could definitely see where she's like playing sides, but it's so weird to me that they're doing this because they're always making the UNSC seem like they're evil.
Yeah.
And you don't get that in the games.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't. And it's so weird that now we have, like, Chief versus the Covenant versus Ackerson. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
So I'm wondering how that's going to fit. Like, maybe they take Ackerson out of power and then everyone shifts to fighting the Covenant. But I'm not sure.
That's why I'm thinking is the most likely scenario and make it most realistic as far as actually being able to win a war like that. But yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I'm a little confused about it. And I'm like, so we're definitely going to get where Chief is going to go after Ackerson. I think that's what's coming up next. I'm just wondering when we're going to actually get where they're fighting the Covenant full time. Because the Covenant don't even seem like the main threat in this show.
Yeah.
Which I think is the wrong tactic. They're just there glassing planets. That's all the Covenant have done in the series. And we hear mentions of them, but most of the conflict is the humans with each other.
Yeah, I hope, as I said many times, I hope that as bad as some of these moments have been, it's leading to a more natural Halo story past Reach.
Yeah.
But my worry is that the reason that Covenant have been less focused and it's human against humans, and even the Covenant side, there's a human like kind of semi-leading the Covenant, is because they're so focused on emotion and human storytelling. That's why the Chief never wears his suit, that they're like, well, people can't relate if they're just fighting aliens, and that's why we need a human that's, like I said, kind of leading the aliens, and then humans against humans. And I feel like they're way too focused on thinking that people can't care about things unless they see their face and their emotions at every second.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, it's frustrating. But, like, you don't, like, we have Arbiter now, too, so you can, like, we can attach to that character, and then it can be Covenant versus humans.
Yeah, you could, it'd be sad, but you could have him kill the Blessed One in a cool way. That's where the cool comes in.
Yeah.
Like maybe behead her and then hold her up, and then Covenant could join him, and he could kind of be a semi-leader.
Yeah.
And then he would start, I don't know how you do it, but go to the human side like you would do in the games, and then you'd have the Covenant versus the humans still.
Yeah, and then we could get, like, Arbiter and Chief moments, which would be really cool. Hopefully he gets his armor back, because now we're almost guaranteed no armor.
Yeah.
Since he doesn't have it. I think they show his armor when Kai walks out, or maybe it's just generic Spartan armor. I
didn't catch it. Definitely could have been his.
But Ackerson took their armor for some reason.
Or it might have been Kessler sitting there with his helmet on.
He's just there, yeah. I don't know. So that was that episode.
It sure was.
I think I went first last week.
That's what I thought, but I was going to ask you because I didn't remember. I'll get straight to it. I would say a 6.7. I think it was a good episode, on the verge of being really good. But for the longest episode yet, I don't think there was... It was definitely more substance than normal and more plot lines that matter than normal.
Yeah.
But for the longest episode yet, I don't think it was, at least this season, like I said, I didn't go back to last season, but I don't think there was enough there. And the action was cool at the beginning, but that was it. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's the longest episode. And that was my worry, that they kind of shot their load and then you won't see it again until the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe going that way. When it started out with action, I was like, all right, here we go. And like we said many times, I mean, all of it has to be action. You could have 30 minutes of storytelling, 10 minutes of action, more storytelling, or you could have, I would say, done in different orders. But yeah, I think overall it was a good episode, though. Seeing the Arbiter confirmed was really cool. I think the potential of the end of the episode is interesting, potentially exciting.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good, though. What do you think?
So a little higher than you.
Okay.
Gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Oh, Haas, sorry.
7 Haas, yeah. 7 Haas. So 6.7 Haas.
Yes.
So there's parts that I liked a lot. Like some of the dialogue I felt like was actually important.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like how they were showing John grieving his friend. He was trying to handle it, which I don't know if it's healthy the way he's handling it, but he's definitely like, I'm out for blood now. He's going more the revenge route, where Riz is just kind of chilling. I liked the scene with Riz at the end a lot. The plot line that brought this episode down was Soren and his wife, and Kwan Ha, because I really don't understand what was going on with her this episode. So just that kind of stuff was a little annoying. Soren, I don't care about that much. I know he's a Spartan, but I don't exactly know where he fits in the, like, as the story progresses. Especially like Kessler, like now we have this little side mission of we have to find Kessler. And I know now he's with the UNSC, so he's probably with Ackerson. So
do you think that's just a really lame excuse for Soren to team up with Master Chief to take on the UNSC together?
Yeah, I could see it that way. And I think with that too, Soren's not going to care about the other stuff. He's just going to get a son and dip. So I'm not really sure. I don't like that plot line. And I don't like Kwan Ha. I don't know if we get a Kwan Ha solo episode of her finding this old woman and being the last of the Ha's or whatever's going to happen with that, I will be very upset.
Oh, especially with only 3 episodes left.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we get more Arbiter and stuff like that. And the Arbiter scenes were great. I really liked those. And then everything with John and Halsey I thought was good. I did want more action, so that also brought it down a little bit. But I thought, like, for the most part, the scenes were important, but there was just these little plot lines that I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave it a 7.
No, that's fair. Like I said, I'm around the edge of that, so I get it.
Yeah, I'm getting a little worried because every episode this season The highest I think was last week was 7.5. Everything else has been hovering around that 5.5, 6 range. So I'm a little worried where the show's going because I see the direction kind of, but then there's just some dumb stuff that's happening that I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I don't know.
I saw both guests on the after show this week are the actresses of Perez and Kai.
Mhm.
So I hope the Kai thing isn't a sign of things to come. Perez, I mean, is important for our plot line, but I don't think you have any connection to that character, so if something happens to her, I don't really care. But
Yeah.
I would
Where
really
is
hope
Perez?
I don't know. Obviously, I'm guessing she's a focal point of this next episode because if they have her as a guest, she must matter in some way. But
She's not with them, right?
I don't think so.
She was with them, though.
Yeah, I feel like both of them are probably going to be key points in this episode since they have them as guests.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of Kai next episode because we're going
Yeah.
to figure out what happened. At least I'm hoping they do this. What happened with the Ackerson side during the fall of Reach. And I'm assuming we're going to see how that unfolded, hopefully in flashbacks. They don't like to do flashbacks in the show, or when they do, they're really weird.
No, yeah, I was going to say, usually I'm not a fan of that in this show, but yeah, if they do it the way you're talking about it, I would be a fan of that, but yeah, I have a feeling they're not going to do that. And they are going to show a lot of that side, but just current day, like what they're doing and
not actually
why they're doing
explaining
it.
what they were doing during the fall of Reach. So yeah, I'm curious where this is going to go. I'm hoping that Chief just goes in guns blazing, gets his armor back, and we go from there.
Dope.
I don't really know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for more Arbiter, of course, and the Blessed One, and less Quan Ha.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about before we get out here?
We got to talk about these Quan ratings by Trevor.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, we talked last week about how Trevor gave the opening episode a 10.
Yeah.
Which we even said at the time, hey, if that's how you feel, stick with it. Just explain it if you want.
Yeah.
And he changed it to a 7, right?
Yeah, I think he dropped it.
Which is a drastic drop, which if you realize things or change your mind, that's okay. But hey, you're allowed to stick with your opinion even if you thought this was a 10 and the highest episode we rated is a 1. But if you feel away, just explain it. You don't have to. We even said that you don't have to fit in. That's why. And I mean, and genuinely, if somebody rates it, I'm curious why they rate it, and it'd be more interesting if it was different than mine.
Yeah. So yeah, Trevor, you don't have to change your opinion. If you gave every episode a 10, just let us know why.
Yeah.
Because let's see. I want to look at his. I think he rated the other ones too. Which, by the way, when you're listening, you guys should definitely comment your Ha rankings.
I agree. You can even go back to the old episodes and do it. I'll even call out my own girlfriend here, Danielle. Where's your Ha rankings? You were with us last season. Where are your Ha rankings
every
at?
week.
Yeah.
It was very consistent.
And she's still watching, but no Ha rankings.
Yeah, we need those Ha rankings immediately. Let's see. Trevor, so he gave the first one a 10, then changed it to 7. So even he went back and was like, never mind. Episode 2, he gave 8 Ha's. He didn't change his opinion on that one.
Yet.
Episode 3, Trevor gave, let's see, 6 Ha's, which I think we were all on board with the 6 Ha's for that one. And then episode 4, Trevor landed with a 8 Ha's. So he really liked last episode, which I understand. I think it's the best episode of the season so far.
For sure.
So, yeah. Give your Ha rankings.
Yeah.
Where's everyone at? There's likes. There's 5 likes on this last one. So that should be at least 5 Ha rankings.
Yeah, let's get the Ha rankings up or down, which is, again, posted is my point. You don't have to be up. Let's share this video. Subscribe. Let's do it all.
Like it. Yeah. And if you guys want more podcasts, I have my own solo podcast called The Franchise Den. You guys can check it out if you want to hear me more. It's a little bit different than this podcast because I talk to myself. But still, if you want more content, you can listen to that. And obviously, Casey does more stuff on his channel that you guys can check out.
Yeah.
With Ryan.
We do too much stuff, and the last episode of the current backlog is up the day after this, so you can check out.
Yeah, so plenty of content out there.
That's right. Anything else?
I don't think so. I'm gonna go see Dune Part 2 tomorrow.
You seen the first one, I'm assuming, then?
Yeah.
Let me know what you think without spoiling it. I liked the first one, but I wasn't crazy about it. I know people are really freaking out about the second one, so I'm a little...
Yeah, the first one was a solid movie. It was a little long, but I heard this one has a lot more action in it, so I'm kind of excited to see where they go with it. So yeah, I'll let you know.
All right, sounds good. Anything else?
Nope. I think that's it.